Make yourself comfortable, close your eyes, and let yourself be carried away by a story from the Middle Ages. The Dawn's Gentle Whisper Amidst Bursting Stalls, Chapter 1. The Dawn's gentle whisper amidst bursting stalls, as the first light of dawn began to unfurl its soft, golden tendrils across the tranquil countryside. Finnian awoke slowly, nestled beneath a patchwork quilt woven from the finest linen and embroidered with delicate, swirling leaves. His chamber was modest but warm, the air scented faintly of hay, and the faint sweetness of honey cakes left on the windowsill from the night's rest. Outside, the world was just stirring, bathed in a gentle amber glow that shimmered softly on the thatched rooftops and the dew-laden grasses. The windowsill was adorned with tiny drops of dew, each catching the first rays of sunlight like 1,000 tiny prisms. Finnian stretched, his limbs elongating comfortably beneath the heavy blankets, his breath slow and even. Outside, the distant hum of birds greeted the new day, a symphony of chirping sparrows and trilling larks, each voice blending into a harmonious lullaby that beckoned him towards awakening. He slowly sat up, a soft yawn escaping his lips, and reached for his linen washcloth, fragrant with lavender and rosewater, to wipe his face and hands as a gentle ritual of greeting the morning. As he rose from his bed, the coolness of the floorboards beneath his bare feet was soothing, grounding him softly in the moment. The chamber door was slightly ajar, letting in a light breeze that carried with it the wholesome aroma of fresh bread baking in the village bakery, mingling with the scent of blooming jasmine from the courtyard garden. Finnian took a quiet moment to gaze out the window. Beyond the timbered walls of his humble home, the world was awakening slowly, almost whispering its stories in hushed tones. The sunrise cast long, dappled shadows across the cobblestone path, which curled its way past modest cottages and secret corners of lush, cultivated fields. The land was still wrapped in the peaceful hush of early morning, as if holding its breath, mindful of the gentle unfolding of the day. His steps took him softly toward the door, and he opened it with care, allowing a gentle breeze to drift inside, stirring the thin curtains of woven wool hanging at the window. Outside, the village was beginning to stir with life, though at this hour it moved with a measured grace, each movement deliberate and calm, as if echoing the tranquil rhythm of dawn itself. The market square, usually bustling with activity later in the day, was still draped in a delicate silence, punctuated only by the distant bleating of sheep and the occasional clatter of a cart wheel on the uneven stones. But even in this quiet before the full dawn, there were signs of the day to come. The shimmer of freshly harvested vegetables arranged in neat bundles on wooden carts, the subdued scent of wild mint and thyme wafting from herbal stalls, and the faint, lingering aroma of honey and baked bread that promised warmth and nourishment. Finnian's eyes wandered over the scene, taking in every tiny detail with a peaceful appreciation. The marketplace was surrounded by sturdy tents and wooden stalls, all bursting with the bounty of the land. To his left, an elderly woman was arranging plump, glistening apples on a woven basket, each apple glowing softly like polished gems in the golden morning light. Next to her, a young man laid out a scattering of fresh garlic and bundles of green onions, their earthy aroma mingling in the air. To Finnian's right, a tailor's stall was already beginning to awaken, with bolts of richly dyed cloth fluttering gently in the breeze. The colors deep crimson, soft emerald, and warm ochre seemed to drink in the sunlight and reflect back a muted, calming glow. The soft rustle of fabric and the faint scrape of a wooden spindle were all that disturbed the peaceful silence, soundless, yet alive with promise and purpose. Amidst this tranquil symphony, Finnian's gaze settled on a small fountain tucked into a corner of the marketplace, its stone basin carved with swirling patterns of leaves and vines. The water inside was clear as glass, capturing the early light and casting shimmering patterns onto the cobblestones. A single bird, a small robin with delicate red breast feathers, perched on the edge, dipping its tiny beak into the cool water, its movement slow and deliberate, savoring the refreshing sip. Finnian's heart was filled with a sense of calm, gentle contentment that only such quiet, thoughtful mornings could evoke. He was reminded of the simple pleasures, the warmth of the sun filtering through the trees, the gentle murmur of the breeze, the soft feeling of moss beneath his fingers. Today was a day for appreciation, for observing nature's tender rhythm, and for quietly fitting himself into the gentle tapestry of the world. He moved gracefully towards the village well, a short walk that took him past heather bushes and wild marigolds clustered along the edge of a small forest. The well was constructed of smooth, gray stones, worn softly by time and use, with a sturdy wooden crank that moved easily beneath Finnian's touch. As he lowered the bucket into the cool depths, he could hear the faint drip of water, a soothing, rhythmic sound drip, drip, drip that echoed softly through still morning air. When he pulled the bucket back up, the water was as pure and sparkly as 1,000 tiny stars shimmering in a clear night sky. With his pail filled, he turned and made his way back to his home, the echo of the morning's serenity still lingering in his mind. Each step was slow and measured, soaking in the gentle stillness. He paused briefly to breathe in the sweet, fresh scent of earth and blooming flowers, pressing the cool metal of the bucket to his chest alongside his heart. It was a moment of quiet gratitude for the steady, dependable rhythm of life, the silent promise of a day filled with small, beautiful things. Back inside, Finnian set his pail down on the wooden table near his hearth. He took a cloth from a nearby hook and gently wiped the water droplets from his hands and face, feeling the coolness seep into his skin and soothe him further. As he looked around his cozy home bright with sunlight and gentle shadows, he felt a wave of peaceful anticipation for the day that lay ahead. There would be time to watch the sun climb higher, to listen to the chorus of birds, to exchange quiet greetings with neighbors, and perhaps to ramble along the winding forest paths at the edge of the village. But for now, he settled into his chair beside the hearth, the soft glow of the morning spilling across the room. The fire was still smoldering from the night, casting a gentle, amber light that flickered softly in the quiet space. His eyes closed momentarily, and he took a deep, slow breath, feeling each inhalation fill him with serenity, each exhalation releasing any lingering remnants of sleepiness or unrest. The world outside was waking slowly, gently, like a lullaby whispered by the earth itself, a soft, soothing melody that called for rest and reflection. And as Finnian temporarily drifted into a tranquil moment of peaceful stillness, he knew that this day, like every day, was an invitation to find beauty in the calm, to savor the quiet, and to be lulled by the gentle whisper of dawn's first light. End of Chapter 1. Finnian's Quiet Stroll Through Colorful Boughs, Chapter 2. Finnian's quiet stroll through colorful boughs as the early morning sun gently ascended beyond the distant hills, casting a soft, golden glow over the tranquil village of Untold. Finnian awoke slowly, wrapped in the gentle embrace of his warm, woolen blanket. The air outside was crisp yet inviting, still tinged with the cool freshness of dawn. As he stirred, a peaceful yawn escaped his lips, and he stretched long and languid, savoring the quiet serenity that cloaked the village like a soft, velvet curtain. After a slow, mindful rise from his small straw-filled bed, Finnian donned his simple, homespun tunic and warm-threaded cloak. With each movement, he felt the gentle roughness of the woven fabric against his palms, grounding him in the moment. Stepping softly across the stone floor, he moved toward the window, where he paused to breathe in the scene outside. The world was waking. Birdsong fluttered through the air like delicate melodies from unseen pipers, and the first beams of sunlight danced across the patchwork of thatched roofs and lush green fields. The village market was just beginning to stir, but Finnian was in no rush. Today, he desired only to wander slowly through the marketplace, to immerse himself in its quiet beauty and rich sensory tapestry. Slipping on his sturdy leather shoes, he stepped outside, closing the cottage door softly behind him. The cool stone beneath his feet was smooth and cool to the touch, and with each step he felt a gentle grounding, as if the earth was whispering, "Relax, breathe deeply, take your time." The narrow village lanes stretched before him, their cobblestones worn smooth by countless footsteps, each one holding stories of days long past and lively markets. Along the sides, great oak trees, their leaves shimmering with shades of emerald and gold, stretched their ancient boughs high into the sky. These trees, known as the heartwood oaks, stood as silent guardians of the village, their branches weaving together in a canopy that filtered the morning sunlight into dappled patches of warmth and shadow. Finnian paused beneath one of these grand trees, under a mighty bough laden with fresh, tender leaves, a symphony of green hues, from mossy jade to vibrant lime. The leaves rustled softly in the gentle breeze, producing a delicate whisper that seemed like a lullaby crafted by nature herself. As he gazed up, the branches swayed gently, their limbs thick with clusters of acorns and tiny blossoms that tinged the air with a faint sweetness, reminiscent of honey and summer blooms. Walking further along the path, Finnian's senses opened to the myriad of sights, sounds, and scents that filled the air. Ahead, he saw a small flower cart, painted in soft blues and warm yellows, its wheels creaking gently as it was pulled by a patient ox. The scent of freshly cut herbs, basil, mint, and thyme wafted from the cart, mingling with the sweet aroma of ripe berries and fragrant fruits displayed in woven baskets. The berries, deep crimson, glistened like tiny gemstones under the morning sun, inviting passers-by to pause and gaze at their plump, inviting surfaces. As he continued his leisurely stroll, the market's vibrant colors and gentle bustle unfolded around him. Stalls made of rough-hewn wood and canvas covers fluttered softly in the breeze, their surfaces painted with intricate patterned swirls, roses, and heraldic symbols, each telling a small story of craftsmanship and tradition. The merchants, with their warm smiles and patient voices, called out softly to one another, offering their goods with quiet pride. Their hands moved deftly, arranging fresh cheeses, slicing loaves of warm bread, and arranging bundles of fragrant herbs with a gentle care that echoed the peaceful rhythm of the day. Along a side street, Finnian noticed a paper seller's stall, its shelves lined with scrolls and parchment, their edges decorated with delicate calligraphy and tiny illustrations of flowers, birds, and mythical creatures. The paper's faintly textured surface felt cool and slightly rough beneath his fingertips as he brushed a finger along a roll, marveling at the artistry woven into each piece. Nearby, a potter's shop exuded a calming vibe, with shelves displaying earthenware jars and gently curved cups, their surfaces glazed in soft pastel shades, blush pinks, pale blues, and warm ochres that shimmered subtly in the sunlight. Finnian's gaze was drawn to a charming corner where a harpist sat beneath a spreading canopy of lilac blossoms, their fragrant clusters filling the air with a sweet, calming scent. The musician played a gentle melody, fingers softly plucking the strings, creating a lullaby that seemed to weave into the very fabric of the market's atmosphere. The sound was smooth, like water flowing over polished stones, whispering serenity into the hearts of those nearby. Finnian paused to listen, feeling his own breath grow slow and even, syncing with the delicate rhythm of the music. Passing by, he admired a stall piled high with woven baskets, each crafted with intricate patterns and filled with freshly picked vegetables, crisp carrots, bright green peas in their pods, and deep purple eggplants. The basket's woven strands felt rough yet comforting beneath his fingertips, each one a testament to the skill of the local artisans. The vegetables were plump and dewy, their skins shimmering in the sunlight, promising nourishing goodness beneath their silken surfaces. Further along, a storyteller had settled on a soft patch of moss at the edge of the market. His voice, calm and rich, told tales of ancient heroes and fairy circles, his words flowing like a gentle stream. Children gathered around, their eyes wide with wonder, but Finnian found himself content to simply listen with half-closed eyes, letting the peaceful cadence of the story soothe his mind. The storyteller's voice wove through the air, blending with the birds' songs and the whispering leaves, creating a harmony of tranquility. As Finnian moved deeper into the market, he found himself beneath a canopy of flowering branches lace-like blossoms of white and pale pink, their sweet scent rising like a gentle lullaby. The branches stretched high overhead, their leaves creating a moss-caked shade that cooled the small area beneath. Here, a bench carved from smooth oak offered a perfect spot to rest. Finnian approached, settling down softly, feeling the coolness of the wood against his back as he looked around. The scene was imbued with stillness and harmony. To his right, a small fountain trickled with clear, cold water, its surface rippling gently as tiny stones formed a neat, rounded basin. The water's sound was like a quiet song, simple, soothing, pure. Nearby, moss and lichen grew in delicate patches on the stones, their velvety textures adding softness and a touch of serenity to the scene. All around him, the colors seemed to breathe and shimmer. The lush green leaves, the vivid reds and purples of berries and flowers, the soft pastel hues of pottery and fabrics, each contributing to the peaceful symphony of the market. The air was filled with a gentle hum, not loud or hurried, but a calming melody of life and community, woven together in perfect harmony. Finnian closed his eyes briefly, inhaling deeply. The scents of fresh bread, ripe fruit, blooming flowers, and earth-washed pottery came together in a comforting, familiar embrace. Every breath seemed to deepen his sense of calm, and his heart softened into the gentle rhythm of the morning. The world felt safe, spacious, and quietly beautiful, an eternal sanctuary of peace. As the sun climbed ever higher, casting a warm glow over the soft rooftops and leaf-tipped branches, Finnian remained seated, his heart swelling with gratitude for this moment of pure serenity. The market thrummed softly with life, its colors swirling, its sounds blending into a peaceful lullaby that beckoned him to rest. It was a place where time slowed down, where every breath, every touch, every sight contributed to a tapestry of calm and gentle joy. Content, Finnian finally opened his eyes, feeling a deep sense of calm settle within him like the warm glow of dusk. With one last, lingering glance at the colorful boughs and bustling stalls, he rose slowly from the bench, ready to continue his peaceful day, carrying within him the quiet magic of the market's gentle splendor. Each step was soft and thoughtful, leading him through the tranquil village back toward his cozy cottage, where dreams awaited, wrapped in the hush of a peaceful, perfect moment. Whispers of Joy in Coffee and Candlelight, Chapter 3. Whispers of joy in coffee and candlelight, the gentle hush of dawn still lingered over the quaint village of Elderbrook, a ribbon of rooftops nestled amidst gentle rolling hills and lush green fields that stretched toward the horizon. In this peaceful corner of the medieval world, life moved slowly, harmonized by the soft cadences of nature and the daily rhythm of the villagers. As the first light spilled golden rays across the thatched roofs and garden walls, Finnian awoke to the tender chorus of chirping sparrows and the muted whisper of a cool morning breeze slipping through the open window of his modest chamber. He sat up slowly, easing into the comfort of his woven bedroll, the thick, warm fabric caressing his skin. Outside, in the orchard nearby, the scent of blooming apple blossoms drifted into the air, delicate and sweet, a fragrant invitation to the day ahead. Today was a special day, a day when the village's bustling market would come alive with color, sound, and lively activity. Yet for now, the quiet comfort of the morning beckoned him to linger a little longer in restful anticipation. After a moment of stillness, Finnian rose and stretched gently, yawning softly as he stepped out of his bed. His bare feet touched the cool wooden floor of his simple cottage, where sunlight filtered through the small stained glass window, casting kaleidoscopic patches of amber and emerald across the worn stone floor. He moved softly, mindful of the stillness in the house, and began his morning ritual, washing his hands in a basin of cool, fresh spring water, the scent of lily and mint swirling about as he rinsed. Stepping outside into the crisp morning air, Finnian inhaled deeply, filling his lungs with the refreshing aroma of dew-laden grass and blooming herbs. The village street was quiet now, save for the distant hum of crickets and the occasional call of a gray heron soaring overhead. He paused at the threshold of his cottage, gazing out across the village square, small and inviting, with its cobblestone path stretching toward the ancient oak at its center, a grand, sprawling tree whose mighty branches seemed to cradle the entire village in their gentle embrace. The market awakening as the sun climbed higher, its warm fingers slowly unfurled across the landscape. The village began to stir. First, the farmers, clad in simple woolen tunics and broad-brimmed hats, arrived with wagons laden with fresh produce, crisp greens, plump carrots, and vibrant berries, each item laid out with care on handmade wooden tables. The air filled with a mosaic of rich scents, the earthy aroma of freshly turned soil mingling with the sweet scent of ripe fruit. Finnian's nose was caught by the inviting aroma of baked bread wafting from the bakery, its warm scent promising comfort and sustenance for the busy day ahead. As more villagers arrived, their chatter and laughter wove a gentle hum that seemed to animate the sleepy village square. The blacksmith's hammer rang softly in the distance, metallic sparks catching the sunlight as skilled hands worked with deliberate patience. Nearby, the scent of fragrant herbs and dried flowers drifted from the herbalist's stall, where bundles of lavender, thyme, and rosemary hung in cheerful bunches, their tiny purple and green leaves whispering secrets of health and healing. The coffee house of joy further along the market square, a welcome new warmth beckoned, an aromatic sanctuary that drew Finnian's gaze. It was the village's modest coffee house, a cozy nook of old oak beams and flickering candlelight. A warm glow spilled from its open doorway, carrying with it the inviting scents of roasted beans and sweet, spiced confections. Though coffee was a rarity in these lands, among the traders and travelers passing through the village, a special blend of roasted coffee beans, imported from distant lands beyond the mountains, had become a prized treasure. Finnian stepped inside, greeted by an atmosphere both tranquil and lively. The interior was illuminated softly by lanterns and candles, their flickering flames casting gentle shadows that danced upon the walls, adorned with tapestries woven with intricate tales and patterns. The low hum of conversations mingled with the delicate clink of ceramic cups and the rustle of parchment maps, creating a soothing symphony. The air was thick with warmth and the heady aroma of freshly ground coffee beans, mingled with hints of vanilla, cinnamon, and a whisper of honey. Table by table, villagers sipped from small cups filled with steaming, dark brown liquid, their faces relaxing into gentle smiles as they paused between trades and tales. The aroma of the coffee was both invigorating and comforting, a rich, full-bodied scent that seemed to awaken the senses softly, encouraging a slow, contented pause in the busy day. Finnian settled at a corner table near a window, its panes streaked faintly with rain from earlier showers. Outside, a flock of sparrows fluttered past, their chirping the perfect accompaniment to his quiet moment. He was served a small cup of the dark brew, its surface shining with a thin layer of crema, delicate as silk. As he lifted the cup, the warm weight in his hands brought a soothing sense of calm, a gentle hug of warmth that seeped into his palms and spread through to his chest. He took a slow sip, letting the bold flavor wash over his tongue, rich and slightly bitter, yet mellowed by a hint of sweet honey and a subtle touch of spice. Closing his eyes, Finnian allowed himself to drift into a state of peaceful reverie, listening to the soft murmur of voices around him, the distant clang of a bell signaling the hour. Candlelit comfort, after a few moments of tranquil sipping, Finnian turned his gaze to the flickering candles lining the tables and shelves, their gentle light casting a honeyed glow across his surroundings. The flames danced softly, their luminous tendrils breathing life into the quiet space, illuminating the shadows with a comforting warmth. The subtle scent of beeswax mingled with the spicy aroma of the coffee, filling the air with a sense of serenity and timeless peace. He watched as a kindly old woman, the village's gentle herbalist, carefully trimmed a wick, the flame flickering lower before settling into a steady glow. Her face, illuminated by the candlelight, bore a look of contentment, the thin lines at the corners of her eyes softening as she observed the simple beauty of the moment. Nearby, a young boy with wide, curious eyes was sketching in a parchment, his pencil moving slowly, capturing the flicker of the flames and the gentle glow of the candles. In this cozy corner of the market, time seemed to slow, as though the gentle flicker of candlelight and the aroma of coffee had woven a spell of peaceful repose. It was a haven and intimate refuge where worries melted away, replaced by a profound sense of calm and belonging. A feast of serenity, the day unfurled patiently, as villagers moved from stall to stall, selecting ripe apples and fragrant herbs. Their voices, a gentle murmur of appreciation, and friendly exchanges. Children's laughter bubbled in the background as they chased each other through the square, their bright gowns and breeches adding splashes of color amid the earth tones of the market. The soft footsteps of elders, their hands clasped on wooden canes, added a grounded rhythm to the scene. Throughout it all, Finnian remained seated, savoring the quiet moments amid the gentle chaos. He watched as a soft breeze caused a curtain of ivy to sway outside the coffee house window, the leaves shimmering like tiny emeralds in the sunlight. Inside, the candle flames flickered a little brighter, as if responding to the peaceful energy of the gathering. The villagers, their hearts intertwined by shared routines and simple pleasures, carried with them the whispers of joy, fragments of delight born from the humble art of gathering, tasting, and celebrating life as small blessings. In the soft glow of candlelight, under the tender watch of the morning sun, Finnian felt a deep sense of contentment settle into his soul. The market life began to ease into a gentle lull as the late morning wore on, lamps flickering lower, and the day's offerings being carefully packed or bartered away. Yet, the memory of this peaceful hour, the warmth of coffee, the flicker of candles, and the quiet harmony of villagers in joy would linger long after, whispering softly in his thoughts when sleep beckoned him to restful slumber. And so, dear one, as the village drifts into quiet repose beneath the starlit sky, remember the gentle whispers of joy found in simple pleasures overtaken by the serenity of candlelight and the comforting embrace of warmth. Rest now, like Finnian in the heart of Elderbrook, embraced by the peaceful lull of a tranquil world. The soft murmurs of vendors and dreamy echoes, Chapter 4. The soft murmurs of vendors and dreamy echoes, the sun had already begun to dip lazily toward the horizon, bathing the medieval village market in a gentle, golden hue. It was a time when the bustling energy of the day gradually settled into a peaceful, reverent hush. Finnian, a young lad with bright, curious eyes and a heart full of wonder, wandered through the open stalls, drawn by the soft chorus of sounds and the sweet scent of the last hours of the market's life. The air was thick with the aroma of freshly baked bread, warm and slightly yeasty, mingling with the sweet fragrance of honeyed apples and ripe figs. Each breath was a gentle invitation to pause and breathe deeply, savoring the simple pleasures of this tranquil moment. The cobblestones beneath his bare feet felt cool and smooth, polished by countless footsteps over countless seasons. Around him, the vendors' voices blended into a soothing murmur, a lullaby of gentle calls that washed over the crowd like a comforting wave. A stout woman with a wide smile and kind eyes called out, "Fresh bread, still warm from the oven. Come, taste the buttery crust, sweet as honey and soft as a cloud." Her voice was low, warm, and inviting, with the faint crackle of laughter tucked into her words. Her hands, rough yet gentle, laid slices of bread onto woven baskets, the golden crust crackling softly as the slices shifted. Near her stall, a tall man with a long, flowing beard and a cap woven of straw offered honey amber-colored and shimmering like sunlight captured in glass jars. His voice was a slow, deliberate hum, each word deliberate and calming. "Pure honey, from the bees in the meadows," he said softly, tilting the jar to show the thick, viscous honey slowly sliding down the sides. The gentle drip-drip of honey onto a wooden plate mingled with the faint hum of bees still whispering in the distance, their tiny wings a lullaby of their own. Finnian's gaze drifted further along the row of stalls where silken fabrics caught the last light of day. The linens were spun from the finest threads, soft as the clouds, and dyed in shades that seemed to glow with an inner warmth. A woman with a gentle smile wove bright blue and deep green cloths, her fingers moving with a quiet rhythm. The delicate rustle of the fabric fluttered as she arranged a bolt of cloth on her stall, each fold a soft whisper of silk. The touch of the fabric was like a gentle caress, so smooth and cool, lulling Finnian's fingertips to imagine cloaks and scarves perfect for the cool nights ahead. The market was alive with colors crimson, ochre, violet, and pale lemonal blending together in a tapestry of warmth and wonder. Light flickered across the glass of a nearby vendor's cart, casting tiny rainbows onto the worn stones. That cart, filled with shimmering beads, jewels, and polished stones, beckoned with a quiet promise of magic and mystery. The beads, small and cool in the hand, glinted like distant stars, each one catching the sunset's glow with a tiny whisper of luminous song. In the distance, a gentle melody drifted over the scene strains of a lute, played softly by a young minstrel. His fingers danced delicately over the strings, creating a lullaby that seemed to slow time itself. The notes floated like wisps of cloud, calming and serene, echoing across the market with a spacious, dreamlike quality. The melody was intertwined with the rustling leaves of the nearby village trees, whispering their secrets to the breeze. Finnian paused beside a humble stall where a gray-haired woman with twinkling eyes sat weaving fragrant wreaths from wildflowers, thyme, and rosemary. The scent was faint, but sweet, like a gentle embrace winding around him like a cozy blanket. She worked with careful, rhythmic movements, her hands moving in a slow dance that mesmerized him. The wreaths were delicate peach blossom laid gently, their petals soft and velvety to the touch, casting tiny shadows that danced on her hands. The gentle hum of conversation became a continuous, soothing drone current of whispers and echoes that lapsed and flickered like a lullaby, sung by the earth itself. Vendors exchanged kind words and stories, each voice blending into a tranquil symphony. The gentle rhythm of their speech was like a heartbeat, constant, reassuring, motherly in its familiarity. You could almost hear the soft crackle of fires burning nearby, their warm glow flickering softly as merchants took a moment to rest. Finnian's eyes became heavy with the slow, comforting pulse of this world. The market's colors, sounds, and scents wove together into a tapestry of dreams. As he wandered further, he noticed an old man sitting by a low wooden table, gently tending to a small flock of songbirds in a carved wooden cage. The man's voice was slow and gravelly, telling tales of distant lands and the gentle songs of the birds. His words were like honey sweet, thick, and soothing. The birds themselves chirped softly, their tiny voices pure and painless, like a lullaby sung by the wind. Their feathers shimmered in shades of pearl and silver, moving with gentle tremors that resembled tiny dances, inviting thoughts of calm, peaceful nights and soft, star-filled skies. The old man's gentle hands stroked the small birds as they rested, reaffirming a quiet harmony that spread like a comforting glow over everyone around him. Finnian's gaze rested on a little girl with braids and a crown of wildflowers, her cheeks glowing with the pink blush of dusk. She held a small basket filled with ripe strawberries and plump blackberries, the tiny dew drops on their surfaces sparkling faintly like fairy tears. Her laughter was soft and sweet, a gentle ripple that blended seamlessly into the tranquil symphony of market sounds. She giggled softly as she offered Finnian a berry, its juicy warmth bursting gently in his mouth and spilling a sweet drop onto his tongue. The taste was pure, calming, a reminder of simple joys and natural grace. Everywhere around him, the world seemed to breathe deeply, inhale the scent of herbs and baked bread, exhale the warmth of the setting sun, and drift softly into dreamlike whispers. The gentle murmur of voices, the rustle of fabrics, the delicate pluck of a lute, the whisper of the wind through the trees all combined into an endless lullaby of peace. Close by, a small fountain bubbled quietly, its waters rippling softly, casting reflections of the twilight sky and the starry stars awakening in their night sky mirror. The gentle splash and trickle of water paired with the distant call of a nightingale created a peaceful harmony and invitation to relax even further, to let the worries of the day dissolve in this tranquil melody. Finnian found himself drawn to a cozy nook beneath a flowering apple tree, its branches heavy with blossom scent. He settled onto a soft patch of moss, the ground beneath him cool and comforting. The tree's leaves fluttered in the gentle evening breeze, casting dappled shadows that danced softly on his face. The soothing sound of the breeze, mingled with the faint hum of nighttime insects, created a blanket of sound quiet, calm, endlessly peaceful. The entire market had gradually slowed. Merchants packed away their wares, stringing up lanterns that glowed like tiny moons, their light flickering softly in the coming night. The village's gentle, rhythmic heartbeat persisted, a continuous lullaby of life and contentment. Finnian's eyelids grew heavy, the peaceful serenity gently wrapping him in a tender embrace. The soft murmur of the vendors' voices, the whispering leaves, and the distant melodies combined into a symphony, a lullaby crafted by the universe itself, promising rest, quiet dreams, and a new dawn filled with gentle hope. And so, beneath the softly glowing lanterns and the dancing shadows of the flowering apple tree, Finnian's breathing slowed, each breath deepening into the peaceful rhythm of the night. In this sleepy, wondrous world where sounds and scents melded into a perfect moment of calm, he drifted into gentle sleep, wrapped in the warm, velvet embrace of the peaceful market's dreamy echoes. As the sun sinks, a tranquil twilight at the market's edge, Chapter 5. As the sun sinks, a tranquil twilight at the market's edge, the golden glow of late afternoon spilled softly over the gentle contours of the medieval village, casting long, drowsy shadows that stretched lazily across the cobblestone paths. The scent of ripe fruit lingered in the air, sweet and mellow, mingling with the fragrant aroma of freshly baked bread and the faint, smoky whisper of evening fires. As the sun lowered toward the horizon, its warm fingers brushed the rooftops of thatched cottages, turning the world into a tapestry of amber and rose hues, a tender farewell to the lively day. Finnian strolled quietly toward the market's edge, where the busy square gently thawed into a calmer, more peaceful precinct. He had spent the hours amid the vibrant, rambling stalls. His hands had helped pluck shiny apples from their branches. His ears had listened to the cheerful chatter of merchants and villagers, and his eyes had marveled at the intricate work woven into bolts of fabric, dried herbs, and shining trinkets. Now, as the market began to wind down, a sense of tranquil stillness settled like a soft blanket across the land. Finnian's bare feet made gentle sounds on the cool stones, each step soothing and deliberate. His senses soaked in the quiet richness. Crickets began their evening song, a lullaby woven into the cool breeze that swept through an open space at the market's edge, where a small stream meandered nearby. In that quiet corner, the last fading rays kissed the water's surface, illuminating tiny ripples that shimmered like fleeting jewels. He paused beside a low stone wall that bordered the stream, leaning gently against its cool, mossy surface. From here, Finnian could see the entire marketplace, now bathed in a gentle twilight glow, where lanterns hung softly from wooden posts, small orbs of amber light that glowed with a flickering, serene warmth. The lanterns cast a calm, golden haze over the sleeping stalls, and their gentle flicker seemed to dance in harmony with the rhythmic flow of the nearby stream. He closed his eyes briefly, breathing in the rich scents of earth and wood smoke, feeling a comforting stillness settle within him. The sounds of the evening birds settling into their nests, the faint murmur of a distant bell, and the occasional plop of a stone dropped into the stream created a peaceful symphony that seemed to lull the world into quiet repose. Finnian's gaze drifted to a small wooden bench nearby, polished smooth by years of use. He seated himself softly, the gentle creak of the old wood blending harmoniously with the natural harmony of the evening. His hands rested on his lap, palms open, as if welcoming the calm into his very being. He watched as the water in the stream shimmered like liquid glass, reflecting the last blush of sunlight and the dancing light of the lanterns above. Across the stream, a cluster of wildflowers, larkspur, daisies, and wild violets leaned gently in the breeze, their soft petals whispering secrets to one another. Butterflies drifted by, their wings faintly luminescent, fluttering lazily from blossom to blossom. The air was filled with a subtle sweetness, a delicate aroma carried along by the breeze, perhaps from a nearby herb garden where thyme and lavender grew in tangled abundance, their fragrances mingling with the earthy scent of damp soil. Finnian's thoughts drifted quietly toward the memory of the day's gentle adventures. He had watched a boy chasing a small, bright butterfly, his laughter pure and carefree, echoing softly through the open market. A woman in a woven shawl had offered him a handful of sweet dried figs, their sticky, fragrant goodness melting on his tongue. He remembered the loom maker's kindly smile as she showed him the intricate weaves of her silken fabrics, threads shimmering like spun gold. Each moment of the day had been a gift, simple, peaceful, and filling his heart with quiet joy. Now, beneath the vast expanse of the twilight sky, Finnian felt an arm of tranquility wrap around him. The fading sunlight cast a gentle glow, softening the edges of the world, smoothing away the last remnants of hustle and bustle. The sky bloomed in shades of lavender and soft peach, a watercolor painting brushed gently by divine hands. A few stars began to peep out shyly, tiny pinpricks of light waiting their turn to dazzle in the coming night. A soft, cool wind stirred the leaves of the nearby trees, oak, birch, and elm leaves whispering and rustling, as if sharing stories of old with the quiet earth. Finnian closed his eyes again, letting the serenity seep deep into his bones. His breathing slowed, rhythmic and even, mirroring the slow, peaceful flow of the stream beside him. In this moment, time itself seemed to pause. No worries, no hurried thoughts, only the gentle unfolding of night, the peaceful transition from bustling market day to tranquil evening. The world was simply being in perfect harmony, and Finnian found himself effortlessly embraced by the stillness. He allowed his mind to drift, like a leaf floating gently downstream. He imagined himself winding along the stream's current, traveling under the canopy of stars that now twinkled more brightly against the darkening sky. The water's surface shimmered with the reflected moon, which had begun its quiet ascent, casting a silvery glow that mingled with the lantern's warm light. He felt the coolness of the water refreshing and calming, as if it carried away any lingering fatigue or restless thought. Beneath the peaceful hush of twilight, a distant owl began to call softly, a quiet, rhythmic hooting that echoed gently through the trees. Its voice was a lullaby older than words, a soothing, melodious sound that blended seamlessly into the symphony of night's arrival. The owl's gentle call seemed to affirm that rest was near, that the world was content in this moment of perfect peace. Finnian's gaze traced the delicate patterns of the clouds that drifted lazily across the evening sky, puffs of cotton, tinged with the last hints of sunlight. Clouds that looked like friendly faces or ships sailing in a calm, celestial sea. As he took in their slow, graceful movement, his mind wandered to the stories of old tales of gentle kings and wise women, of fields of blooming flowers and peaceful forests, all woven into the fabric of this quiet land. He tuned his ear to the soft chorus of crickets and night insects, their tiny voices singing a lullaby for the sleeping earth. The sounds were soothing, a gentle hum that harmonized with his heartbeat, guiding him effortlessly toward rest. His eyelids grew heavier, the peaceful glow of twilight settling into his very core. As the stars grew brighter and the moon's silvery light became more pronounced, Finnian felt a profound sense of gratitude to the gentle world around him, to the slow turn of the day into night, and to this moment of pure, tranquil beauty. He let his shoulders relax, sinking into the embrace of this peaceful twilight space. With a final, deep breath, Finnian felt the calm within him deepen, his mind quiet, his heart at ease, his body unburdened. The gentle ripple of the stream, The whispering leaves and the distant call of the owl became a lullaby that carried him softly toward a restful sleep, wrapped in the peaceful twilight at the market's edge. And so, in the gentle glow of dusk, with the world wrapped in serenity and wonder, Finnian found himself drifting peacefully into a calm, dream-filled sleep, embraced in the tranquil harmony of this perfect, peaceful evening.